Hello, welcome back to Benesushi Live Noding. In this episode, I want to share some kind of basic creations you can make using animation nodes in Blender. So it's looking something like this. So it's all animated, it looks slightly complicated, but it's actually super easy. It's basically a torus, and each and every torus polygon face is being disturbed by noise. Okay, so there are actually two examples here. So there's the blue one and the red one. Okay, they are actually separate. So let's take a look at the blue one. It's actually super simple. I just move it to the side, right? And this one, if you look at it, it's basically just polygon face, and each polygon face is, the vertices is being disturbed by the noise. Yeah, and the one that's responsible is actually this vector wiggle. And you start with a torus, of course. Animation nodes, this loads this torus mesh, which I hide, and using mesh info and separate polygons, it's separating the polygon face, and then you put it back, you combine it back. Before you combine it back, you use this vector math and vector wiggle to wiggle the mesh. It's really that simple, right? The second one, the red one, is very, very similar. So you separate the polygon face. Well, actually, in this case, you don't actually need to separate the polygons. You just simply, okay, you have mesh info. You get the mesh, you get the object, and then you pass in the input into offset polygons. And we really only look at the polygon face in this case. This node is actually really powerful because you can easily deal with polygon face. You can change the scaling, things like that. Let's say make it small, so you can see some face becoming smaller, and then you can basically offset translations, rotations, and scale, and all of them can be controlled based on all kind of pivot. So this is the pivot options that you have: global axis, local axis. So there's a lot in here. So it's basically separating all the polygon face, and then each one of them can be offset. And you have to understand offset to really understand how this works, but it's actually pretty basic, especially with the fall off. Instead, I'm currently using this noise fall off, and I can adjust the frequency and amplitude. I can turn on and off the effects of location, rotation, and scale. So that's just the scale, for example. That's just the rotations. You can perhaps use the similar setup to have like a easy flip, kind of like a flipboard effect. You can simply pass in new objects and have a different result altogether. But I think this is really powerful of animation nodes. In the past, I've been trying to do this using Spreadshock add-on. It's slightly different way of thinking, but animation nodes one seems simpler at the moment. Once you understand offset polygons and separate polygons and combine mesh, and you kind of disturb it or like displace it, it's almost like making modifier using nodes. So it's really quite powerful. So this is how animation nodes deal with the components, especially in this case, the polygon face. Maybe in the future, we're gonna take a look at how we can deal with the edges of the polygon mesh. Yeah, what else I want to talk about? If you want to export this out, as something for augmented reality. It's not gonna work right away, but you probably need to use bone because some AR doesn't support shape keys or blend shapes. This one is like just an animated component, so but you can always export it out as Alembic, if I'm not wrong. So whatever you have here, file, export, Alembic. So Alembic should generally works. So that's how you can bake it. So let's do this really quickly. Okay, the Alembic is loading a lot of things, but Alembic is super handy because you can make duplicates, right? And then you can give random color, and each one of them can be offset. But you need to make sure each one of them has a each one needs to be like a single user, so they're using different data, and then now they can be offset, slightly offset, so it's more natural like this. But it's very interesting. All right, so yeah, there you go. That's how you can use animation nodes to disturb the polygon of mesh, polygon face of the mesh. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.